Hi, welcome back to my channel. If we haven't met yet, I'm a plant daddy. I'm one of the millions of plant daddies in the world that loves taking care of houseplants. This channel is about houseplants, home automation for houseplant care. And over the past year, I've gotten involved with hydroponics. I specialize growing indoors and in small spaces. Before we get into the video, I just want to share that this video is not sponsored in any way. I just want to share some of the products that I use that work for me and share my experiences with you. So let's go ahead and get right into the video. Today, I'm excited to share with you the week 3 update of my grow in the Rise family gardens. So I'm gonna bring the camera closer and show you a tour so we can see the progress of how these crops and herbs and leafy greens that I'm growing have been doing since my last update. So let's go ahead and bring you closer to the garden. All right, let's get into the garden. Now, as you can see, a lot of these herbs on the top level here have been growing a lot. This sage has really made a lot of progress, and it's almost hitting the light here, as you can see. And if you watch my previous videos, you might remember that this sage was grown from a cutting. So I propagated this sage, and it's doing really well. This mint, I wasn't sure what this plant was earlier, but I think this is mint. And this thing is starting to take off. You can see how bushy this is up here. In the back, I have cilantro growing. It's slowly making its way up. Looks like it's getting bigger. Over here on this side, we have some parsley that's growing really well. I put a plastic knife here to prop it up. In the back, I'm growing some chives, and this started on January 10th, and it looks like it's growing now. You can see it back there. Up over here, we have some onions, and these onions have been in the system for quite some time. I mentioned in my previous video, I've had these onions here since August 8th. And in the back, I don't know if you could see it, but I'm growing some Chervil. This is like a French, I guess, parsley. This looks like it's doing really well here. Check out that growth in the back. That's one of the things I like about having a hydroponic garden at home, is because I can grow rare or not so easy to find herbs in the garden. And it's nice you can grow at home versus trying to find out where you could get these herbs. But of course, it depends on the season that you'd be shopping in. But if you grow hydroponically, it's nice to have herbs at home. So it's nice that I'm growing Chervil. Over here, I'm growing some chamomile. It looks like I got some browning here with the chamomile. I'm not sure what's going on, but most of the plant looks pretty good. But there are some leaves here that are growing brown. I'm not quite sure. If you have an idea of what might be causing these brown leaves, let me know. But I think the plant is doing okay for the most part, but would love your feedback. I'm going to try to pick some of this out here. Let's move on to the second level here. This kale is ready to be harvested. This is growing quite a bit. It's already reaching the top of the lights here. So I'm going to pull this out of the system after I record this video. In the back, we have some pak choi, but the pak choi is starting to get it's not getting as much light because this kale is blocking the light for the pak choi. And then this lemongrass is getting kind of lost in here too, but this is growing pretty well. This lemongrass took a long time to grow, but it's finally doing well in the system. Over here, you could see I'm growing some peppers. I already have 2 peppers growing here. There's one down there, and then there's one over here. Let me move this lemongrass out of the way so you could see it, but look at those beautiful peppers. Now I do have to pollinate these flowers every so often. Every time I see a new flower, I just pollinate it with a brush. I don't know if you could see that in the camera here, but I'm just making sure to kind of do the work of the bee. Over on this side, I'm growing some Rouge de Hiver, and this is ready to harvest soon. The strawberries that I transplanted into the system have started to wake up from its dormant state. You could see the green leaves here, which is pretty nice. I think this is Beni Husseini Mizuna. This might have actually got stuck with another plant, but this seems to be growing really well now. But it looks like some of these leaves were curled up, but I'm not actually sure why these leaves curled up. I noticed this started to change after I increased the fan speed, but I want to check to see if there's any bugs or anything. But this does not look too healthy, but it doesn't look too bad. But it's something that I'm monitoring in the system. I'll pull this out and harvest it soon, because it's only one leaf, I think, that had some deformities that looked questionable. So that's the only thing. If you might know what this is in the video, feel free to comment below, and I'd love to get your feedback. Over in this side back here, we're growing some Japanese mustard. I don't know if you could see that in the camera. Back over here, you could see it peeking through. I'm growing some bloody dock sorrel. That's growing nicely. Look at the beautiful red veins in the leaves. That looks beautiful. Over here in the bottom row, I moved some stuff around earlier in the week. Still growing rapini. I have another strawberry plant that used to be on the right side, but I moved to the left side so it can get better light. But this is starting to wake up, but these leaves are pointing down. I'm not quite sure why these leaves are pointing down, but hopefully they'll reach up to the sun, the lights. And I'm going to try to make some more room so it gets brighter light. And then I'm going to have to trim some of these tomato plants, because as you can see, they're starting to take over like a jungle on the bottom of the garden. Since last week, I've been using a blossom nutrient. So a lot of these, there have been a lot more flowers that have been popping up, which is really good. I'm going to have to pollinate these soon in order to get them ready to bear fruit. Down over here on this right side, I'm growing some Swiss chard, some tatsoi, and celery in the back. But again, as you can see, the tomatoes are taking over the bottom of the garden, so I'm going to have to do some major trimming in order to allow more light to get to the bottom of these crops that are below the tomato plant. I'm either going to have to transplant these that are getting blocked by the light, or I'm going to have to trim the tomato plant, which I will most likely do. Check out this growth on the bottom level. This tomato plant is really taking over the bottom, but it looks beautiful. I installed a white netting in order to give the tomato plant some support that it can grow around, so it looks like it's doing really well. I secured the netting with Velcro straps to the side of the base of the garden. Well, that wraps up week 3 of my garden update. I hope you enjoyed the tour to see the progress of my crops growing. As you can see, a lot of these are ready to harvest now, and I will most likely pull them out of the system and make room for seedlings that I'll be transplanting into the garden. Now, that's one of the things I love about growing indoors, is that I can keep this garden running continuously and just transplanting new seedlings as I harvest. Or I could do the cut and come again method, where I would just harvest a few leaves, make a salad, but leave most of the plants in the system growing. But I think I'm most likely going to harvest a lot of these leafy greens to make room for new seedlings. But I would love to learn from you. If you have any feedback for my grow, if there's anything I missed in the video that you wanted to see, feel free to comment below and share any feedback. If you have any questions, I'll also try my best to get back to you as soon as possible if you leave a question in the comments. But if you haven't already, I invite you to click like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell to get notified when I post new videos. Every YouTuber says that. But that's it for me. Thanks for tuning in. See you in the next one.